Karl Romain is a life development coach, a self-defense expert, and author of the book, The Self-Confidence Factor, A Parent's Guide to Bully Prevention. And he's here today to talk about New Year's resolutions. And many people will make the New Year's resolution to get into shape, define for themselves what that means. So they will join health clubs, and they go to the health club for a couple of weeks, and then they don't go anymore. We're going to find out why. Karl, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me on.
Karl, what is a life development coach?
You know, I work with people as a life coach, helping them to set goals, accomplish their goals, and figure out what it is they really want in their life. So I help them literally develop their life in the way that they want it to be.
A personal coach for your life, when we're not necessarily talking athletics or keeping fit, right?
No, not necessarily, but that is an aspect that we can work on. When we work on people, like when I talk to people about New Year's resolutions or goals, I actually work on 6 basic areas. And those 6 basic areas are your career, your health, relationships, your financial life, your spiritual life, as well as your sense of well-being, which is really important because it's really about how you feel and are you a happy person in general.
It would seem that once we conquer the first 5, then number 6 just falls into place.
You would think that, but number 6 actually could be number 1 for most people. You know, it's said that you cannot achieve to be happy, you have to happily achieve. And it's really important that while we're in the process of achieving our goals, that we feel good about ourselves, we feel good about our lives. And that's going to help us to actually accomplish our goals more often.
When somebody does not accomplish their goals, such as working out at the health club, is the barrier between their eyes? Is the barrier between their ears, I should say?
Definitely between their ears. It's really all about how they think about themselves and the experience of the way that they're taking in life. When I see people who don't achieve their goals, I know that basically they've given up on themselves in some way, shape, or form. Now, there's different ways that we can overcome that. And one of the ways that we can overcome that is by having a good support system. Another way is to make sure that you are reviewing on a daily basis what your goals are, because it's too easy to forget. And so keeping a structure that will allow you to be successful is incredibly important.
Reviewing your goals on a regular basis. I remember one place I worked at, we had a sales coach come in, and her idea was that you go to your bulletin board, whether you have one in your office or in your house, and cut pictures of things that you would like to have, like a nice car, and put them up on the billboard to remind you.
Mm-hmm. That's called a vision board. And I'll even go a step further. You know, if there's a car that you want to purchase, let's just say, and it's part of your goals of something you want to do, something you want to accomplish, take it for a test drive. It costs you absolutely nothing to try on the lifestyle. You know, if there's a type of house that you like to buy, you know, go to a neighborhood where that house exists, and if there's an open house, go to the open house. Take a look around. See, again, you know, it gives you the opportunity to really take in the experience and connect with it at an emotional level, which will help to increase your desire to actually accomplish the goal.
That's true. That works. I've tried that. And it really, I have my eyes on something. I've had my eyes on something for the last year, and it's going to take a while to get it, but I think I'm going to get it probably before summer. But anyways, the health clubs know that people are going to give up. So isn't that why they lock them into long-term contracts?
Yeah, that's designed to help them make a bigger commitment. Because sometimes when people know they have to pay for it, they're more likely to go. You know, 45% of people will set a New Year's resolution or a goal, and only 8% of the people actually achieve it. So there's a huge disparity there, a huge gap.
From your studies, how long does the average New Year's resolution last?
90 days.
90 days?
Yeah.
Okay, so
unfortunately, but within that 90 days, if somebody is not consistent, that's why they tend to give up at that point. It's really important when you set that goal to make it manageable. You know, don't set a goal, I'm going to work out 4 days, 5 days a week, and you haven't worked out in 10 years. You know, start out with 1 or 2 days a week and be consistent. That's the most important aspect of it.
and set your goal at first to something reasonable, like you just said.
Mm-hmm. Something reasonable, and make sure your goal is clear and specific. Don't set a goal, I just want to lose weight. That's too vague. Set a goal for, I want to lose, for example, I want to lose 60 pounds and I want to do it over the course of 12 months. That's very clear, that's very specific, and you're more likely to do that. And it allows you then to work backwards, from your end result all the way back to the beginning and know exactly where you need to be at certain points.
Oftentimes in the military, especially in the Air Force, if you have a mission to fly, you will have a mission briefing, and there'll be written briefing points so that everybody knows what is going to be accomplished. Perhaps that should apply to our goals. Like you said, if you have a goal to lose 60 pounds, spread it out, and then you can see how you're doing.
Right. You're talking about 5 pounds a month. That's pretty doable. 1 pound a week, right? Roughly.
That's not bad. That's child's play.
Yeah. And we use a process that we call PARR, plan, act, review, renew. Write down a plan of how you're going to accomplish your goal. Know what the obstacles are, know what you're going to do when you're faced with an obstacle and how you're going to overcome it. It's never too late to start over again. That's very important. Who's going to support you in the goal, and what will be the impact of accomplishing this goal on your life? Know your why. When your why is big enough, you're more likely to accomplish the goal. And then don't forget to take action. Immediately just start going for your goal, start doing something today to accomplish your goal. There's always something you can do. And then once you've done that, you got to review your goal. You got to review your goals daily. And you need checkpoints that allow you to review your progress to see where you are. Am I on track to accomplishing the goal? Additionally, you need to renew, which is the last R, renew your commitment. And you have to renew your commitment every single day, sometimes hour by hour.
Should one reward themselves along the way?
Absolutely. I totally believe in that. I think, if you work hard for something, and sometimes accomplishing the goal is a reward. Like you were saying, you had an idea of something that you wanted and you tried it out. Well, if you accomplish it, sometimes that is the reward, a nice car, a nice home, whatever it is.
And little rewards along the way, maybe.
And little rewards along the way, absolutely. They definitely help.
You are also the United International Kung Fu Hall of Fame inductee. What is Kung Fu?
Kung Fu is a Chinese martial art made famous in the U.S. by Bruce Lee. We also know about the David Carradine TV series called Kung Fu.
Yes.
Yes.
And you've done Kung Fu for how long?
36 years now.
Okay. And you're not advocating that we should get into Kung Fu, or are you?
It's never too late to start a martial arts or to try it. I practice Tai Chi, Kung Fu, and they're both really good for you. So people can do it at any age. I have students as young as 4, and my oldest student is 80.
Wow. How should somebody go about picking a health club?
Go and take most health clubs, most martial arts schools give you a free trial of some type. Go and take the free trial. Go and see if you like the atmosphere, the culture, the people there. More importantly, work out with a buddy. Find somebody who has a goal very common to you and is really committed to it, and then decide together to support one another on the goal. So if every Monday at 7 o'clock I'm meeting Joe and we're going to go to the gym and work out, that's going to motivate you. Now, you got to make sure that Joe stays on track, too, because you can't have a day where you're both like, we don't want to go, let's just go hang out. That's not going to work. But you got to make sure that your partner's really committed and that you agree together to support each other. And sometimes that means you got to put little things there that help you guys. Like, for instance, maybe if we had a great workout, we can have some kind of reward in 2 weeks or something like that.
Very good. And speaking of health clubs, are there any signs that a consumer can look for that maybe this is not the right place for me?
Well, typically you want a health club that's clean. You want an atmosphere that's friendly. You want to take a look at the agreement. Make sure you read the agreements very carefully. A lot of times people will sign something and not look it over. You want to make sure you have a clear understanding of the commitment you're about to make. It's pretty customary in the health and fitness industry that they use agreements or contracts, if you want to call them, And most of them do not allow you to cancel. So it's very important to read through those things and make sure that you're clear about what the agreement really is.
So if you decide not to go anymore, you still have to pay?
Sometimes, yes.
Sir, can you stay with us for one more segment?
Sure.
Okay, let's take a break now. We'll get back to more. We're on the air with lifestyle coach Karl Romain on 1520 WBZW. If you have any questions, feel free to call in 407-774-8255. Karl Romain. Karl is seen quite a bit on Dr. Oz, and we'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. Karl, we talked about joining a health club. Is there any validity to buying some of the equipment that you see advertised on TV and having all those things to use in your house, or are they just cheap?
You know, there's always a benefit to something. I think it's like anything else. You know, you're only going to get out of it whatever you put into it. You know, whether it's a DVD, whether it's a piece of equipment, whether it's going to the gym, you got to really know before you make the investment that you're committed to the idea that whatever it is that I'm investing my time and my energy into, I'm actually going to use. And you can't get upset if you don't use it. After all, we all have a personal choice in that.
There are many aspects to keeping in shape. Can you review some of them for those of us who have had our heads in the sand?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Well, you know, one of the things that I look at is about healthy lifestyle. A lot of times people set a goal to just lose weight, and that's really not enough. It's about how you live every single day of your life. You know, how do you plan to eat for the rest of your life? It's not something you're going to do for the short term, lose weight, and then all of a sudden you're going to put it on later on. Also, combined with how you eat is how do you prefer to exercise? Do you prefer to walk? Do you prefer to play racquetball or tennis? Or is martial arts, kung fu, an option for you? Or tai chi or yoga, whatever it is, find something you love to do that you feel like you could do for the rest of your life, and then really immerse yourself into it. And additionally, when it comes to your health, find a buddy. Find somebody you can train with. Find somebody who will support you in your goal. If you're part of a family, recognize that we got to do it together. You know, when somebody's eating a salad and somebody else is eating a burger, it's kind of like, unfair. And so it's really important to get the family to support you on the goal and to do it together, and that'll make a big difference in your ability to accomplish your healthy lifestyle goals.
Couple of the risks with being out of shape are diabetes and high blood pressure. Have you known of cases where people have actually said, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get in shape, and they actually did, and they found out that their doctors had to lower their medication for either of those two maladies?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. My dad actually has diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and through diet and a little bit of exercise, he's 86 this year, so his exercise is very light. It's not very strenuous, but it's walking, being consistent with both diet and exercise has helped him to do quite well with his diabetes. And I have students here that study, Tai Chi with me, and Tai Chi is a great way to lower your blood pressure through consistent practice, where even some of them have even come off some medication through their doctor.
Boy, I'll tell you what, the one word that you've said all through today's appearance is consistency.
Yeah. You got to be consistent no matter what you do, and you can't get discouraged if you don't see results right away. They will come. In the martial arts, we talk about the idea of a bamboo tree. You plant the seed, and then you got to water it for 6 months before you see any results. But at the end of 6 months, something really interesting happens. It grows. It grows like by 6 feet. So you really got to have faith. You got to be consistent. And you just got to keep going for it. Keep swinging the bat and keep trying.
And we're running out of time for this segment here, Karl, but I wanted to ask you before we let you go, what do you talk about with Dr. Oz?
I just did a segment for Dr. Oz on Qigong. Qi is energy and Gong is work, so Qigong is using the body's natural energy to promote healing. The Chinese believe that all sickness in the body is caused when Qi or energy is actually blocked, so Qigong moves the energy around. So in the segment, I actually did some different animal movements that incorporate moving energy and helping somebody to be more healthy, more relaxed. And feels good.
And when will do you know when that segment will be aired?
That just aired this week, actually.
Okay. Very good.
You can still find it online.
Outstanding. Well, thank you for being with us, Karl.
Thank you. And
your books are still in print, correct?
Yes. You can get my books at Amazon.com or by visiting my website, Sifu, S-I-F-U, Romain, R-O-M-A-I-N.com.
Very good. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And
Have a great day.
And be safe. All right, time for a break as we approach 3:30 on 1520 WBZW. This is My Hometown, brought to you by Mosquito Creek Outdoors.